Welcome folks to another modern stream, and it's Brewsday Tuesday. So today I was going over my list of deck lists. I have this really bad habit or great habit, however you want to see it, of kind of never deleting the previous decks or brews that I've worked on. So I run into Black Green Karn. This is a deck that probably the last time I played this was like over a year ago at this point. Maybe. So I put this deck together when Karn had been newly printed, and I thought I kind of just fell in love with the card, and I have a soft spot for nonsensical, like shitty mid-range decks, aka Jund. So I wanted to like give it a shot in the context of just straight up black green, but just having Karn as your top end. Of course, when you have this many like 3s and 4 drops, you can't really play Bob. So instead of Bob, we're playing Tireless Tracker, and since we're playing like a slightly higher curve, I am running extra lands. So we're playing full 25 lands. One cool thing is the printing of Nurturing Peatland, because it helps to prevent flooding when we are playing a deck with all of these lands. So that's one of the great printings that this deck received. But I don't think I even played a league since Nurturing Peatland was printed. Like, I think I haven't touched this deck in that long. Maybe I played like one league or maybe two, but now that Karn is legit very good because, you know, Heliod and stuff like that, so I thought I might as well try bringing this old boomer classic back. So we have the usual suspects that you will see in Jund deck. So we have Thoughtseizes, Inquisitions, Removal in Fatal Push, Maelstrom Pulse, Dismember. We got your Lilianas, we got your Goyfs in Scavenging Nooses, Tireless Trackers, as I was saying. And then this list, I think it's fine playing Assassin's Trophy because we are already jamming a bunch of Field of Ruins. So yeah, good question, Apriolo. And the question is it possible to play Utopia Sprawl on this kind of deck? Yes. The original version of this deck, like the very, very first versions of this deck, were actually Death Cloud decks. I thought that Death Cloud would work really, really well with Karn. But if you're playing like Utopia Sprawls and Arbor Elves and stuff like that, I found myself flooding, because whenever you're playing that many of those cards, you end up very often in a situation where you can't really do anything because you just flood, and you have like you're top decking like, you know, Arbor Elves and Utopia Sprawls instead of top decking Business Spells. So slowly but surely the deck started shifting away from Death Cloud. First, I cut a Death Cloud, then I cut 2, then I cut all of them, then I cut the Utopia Sprawls, and slowly but surely it started being way more mid-rangey instead, and this gave me significant more success. Which is sad, because I love Death Cloud, and I wish that it was playable, but I don't think it really is. But as I was saying, so Trophy works pretty well with Field of Ruin, and they also work nicely with Karn, because you can have some sort of land destruction theme. In fact, last I remember, this deck had a pretty solid Tron matchup, which was pretty surprising. Mostly on the back of Karn, of course. The one of fun of that I have not seen in a really long time, Liliana the Last Hope. Maybe this card is just not good anymore, and this is just sort of a relic from the past, and this should be something else. Maybe, I don't know, like another Ooze or another Tracker, another removal spell. We will see how that works out, but I still wanted to, you know, give it a shot because this card is sweet. And when we go to the side where we have, of course, let's sort by color so we can see the Karn package. We have access to Tormod's Crypt, Nihil Spellbomb. In case you wouldn't notice, Dredge is pretty bad matchup for us, so we have Tormod's Crypt to go fetch with Karn and Nihil Spellbomb as well, which we can even bring in. Pithing Needle, of course, Liquid Metal Coating, Torpor Orb, which I think it's solid right now. Like, Torpor Orb stops a bunch of things, so cool to have access to this one, mostly Skyclave Apparition. And Snare Bridge to lock people out, Wormcoil Engine, and Explosives. I was thinking of playing a Seeker's Chariot instead of Wormcoil, but I opted for the Worm because we don't really have anything that we're bridging towards. Like, this is actually our top end. So because we don't have anything that we're bridging towards, I feel like having the most impactful card makes more sense in this shell as opposed to an AmuLIT. Then the rest of the sideboard, we have a couple of Plague Engineers and Collective Brutalities, Veil of Summers, and the one of Fun of Ashiok, Dreamrender, to stop those pesky Titan players. But yeah, we're gonna see how this works. Again, like I haven't played this deck in a while, so I am kind of hopeful, but I am also ready to be disappointed. What will it be? The only way to find out is if you hit that like and subscribe button and you see me for round number 1. Alright, starting off with... I mean, this hand is great against creature decks, so I guess I'm keeping it. Spiral of Canal. This is great. Either great or terrible for us. Still unclear. Oh my god, so much Boomer, yeah. Denjo making me go to work or I don't get money. How is that fair? I know, it's pretty stupid, honestly. Is my opponent playing Storm? I think I'm just gonna jam this Goyf here. Funny how it dies to Bolt, but it's probably fine. It grows my second Goyf. Oh! Huh. So I guess it's that deck. Well, this is not looking good. Land would be great. Land would be great. I would probably... Liliana minus. Inquisition would be great. That grows the Goyf. They have another Electro Balance. Oh, Finale. Damn. Well, we can't beat the second one, so we're just gonna back it. That was cool, though. Brutality seems good. Suspicious, not so much. Probably cut all the pushes. I don't think I want Ashiok. I feel like that was a nut draw for them in a particular percentage of the deck. I mean, it's not... It's kind of okay. What's up, Siri? How's it going? Yeah. This hand seems a lot better. Hey, Scott. Welcome. I would have blocked there in case of lead. I don't think my opponent's playing the Living End version of the deck. I think they're playing the Restore Balance version of the deck. Annoying. We do have access to both Maelstrom Pulse and Sleight of Hand's a weird cantrip to play in that deck. So Maelstrom Pulse and Assassin's Trophy. So I think we're going to actually yeah. So we can trophy on their end step and then untap and Thoughtseize plus Veil. Seems good to me. If they have another nut draw with like multiple Rhinos, we're gonna be in trouble, but sucks to ramp them, but kind of is what it is. Quite annoying that we have to take the Blood Moon here. Quite annoying that we have to take the Blood Moon. And I guess I'm going to play this Goose mostly because we cannot play around that Anger of the Gods, so I'd rather use my mana right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they sack AmuLIT, yeah. Getting the feeling that Karn half of the deck may be more of what we need opposed to the Rock half of the deck. Well, yeah. The Karn half of the deck is the great half of the deck, you know? What would be awesome is to draw something. Something would be a great thing to draw. Crap. I think I'm gonna cycle this Veil. It's bad if they found the remand, but god damn it. Oops. Exclamation point Fran, I guess. Yeah, so they double Gargs. Oh my god. Holding on to this because we have Tracker in our deck. In fact, Tracker is probably your best draw. Karn. Karn would be sick. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana total. Suspended Visions. Oh, hello. You still have 9 counters on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I'm gonna go for coding. It's possible that I should have gone for... It's possible that I should have gone for Ensnaring Bridge instead. To make sure I don't just die to these stupid Gargadons. Next step, Karn in Burn. Karn in Infect. Let's go. Land first, plus Restore Balance. So, I really wish this would There we go. So we have 8 on both of these Gargadons and 3 on the other one. I think I'm gonna start going after some lands. Will I? No, I guess I'm not. I'm just gonna go get in Snare and Bridge. I could actually just go get Wormcoil. Seems better. Because I can just ult Liliana next turn. I think we got the lock here. I guess opponent can find a bolt. As foretold is messed up. That's a sick draw. Okay, so we are ultimating Liliana, I think. And I think we leave them with land as foretold versus the rest of the lands. You're probably going to keep the S foretold. But then we can use... Wait, no? Really? Okay. Opponent's probably going to sack 2 Gargs. So Gargs goes down to 6. Then 5. So I think we can attack this turn. And I'm probably going to save these Thoughtseize until my opponent resolves their Ancestral. Karn is so good. Karn is so freaking good. I love Karn. What have you found, opponent? Why are you in the tank? They found another as foretold. Suck a notified creature line. So they can't sack enchantments to the Gargadon. Yeah, I mean that's their best draw. That's their best draw. I think I just Wormcoil them here. I think I'm killing them before I die. We have Liliana now. So this goes out of 3. I guess they can find... If they find exactly a land, they can attack my Karn down if they sack their entire board. I guess they're probably going to attack my Liliana. Seems worth attacking, of course. But we have to dodge. We have to dodge a land. Oh, that's cool. I hadn't thought about that. So we turn this into a creature, then we -2 Lily. That's a very cool interaction, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Seems like we win though, because like they can get a Gargadon if they sack everything. They attack Liliana, then we kill them with Worm. So like that doesn't do anything. We're also at 30, so no, not particularly close to dying. Yeah, that was cool. I could play Nihil Spellbomb. This is good against Finale, but that's it. But push is just horrendous. So like this cycles at least. Is this the first time Bloody Capas can have been on the battlefield together? I don't know. I mean I played this deck in the past, so I know for a fact that there's been a Lily plus Karn alliance. Neutral platypus. Think it will follow. I'm gonna keep this. My opponent's gonna have Leyline. Oh, no Leyline. Alright, so maybe there's a chance. Well, that's a lot of swamps. Pillage. Damn it. Gemstone Caverns is the draw. What am I doing here? I guess I'm taking the castable, but it's just so bad if my opponent finds as foretold. And we, like, our entire hand is lands. So, like, we really don't care about this card. Hey, Torborg. Thank you. Appreciate it. Been loving Titan Talk as well. Thank you so much, Torborg. I appreciate it. Welcome back for the 4th month. Appreciate the support. Forest. Scavenge news. Go. We'd love to see a Goyf, you know, something at all. Like any fucking thing would be great. Worst case, we swing for 2, I guess. Soul Guide Lantern. Sure. What's up, Lex? Why is this in their deck? To grow my Goyfs? That's so kind of them, honestly. So their hand is Footfalls plus 2 unknowns. Wow. We have to play around anger. So I'm not gonna just run this tracker before I get some value. Wow. Wow. What's the name of the new podcast? Good question. It's not on Spotify yet. Well, I think I have to put more pressure here. It really sucks because I'm playing right into Anger of the Gods, but like my opponent seems to not have anything and we really need to put on the pressure, so It sucks, but I feel like I have to suspend Gargadon. Crack Clue. Inquisition. Don't mind if I do. Nice ley line. We have to dodge one more turn. If we dodge exactly Anger of the Gods this turn, we're gonna win. Clap. Sweet. Starting off strong. Black-green Karn. Let's go. Alright, welcome to round number 2. Turn 1 Thoughtseize on the draw into Karn later on. It's a little bit of a sketchy one. I guess I'm keeping, but like I'm not happy about it. I don't know if you've said anything on yet, but what's your opinion on the Ursa Enchantment land that's coming out? I know it might not make the cut for AmuLIT. I'm curious on your opinion. We made an entire podcast where we talk about that card, so. In short, I think it's good. We'll be trying it. That's the very, very short version of it. More lands. Love to see it. Love to see it. That was a rather timely Thoughtseize, I guess. But into pre-modern and convince my butt to John. That's awesome, Quantum. I am very much in the same spot. Also, my opponent's not playing Lurrus. Like, they have Lurrus as a companion, but they're not actually playing Lurrus. Also, these draws are not working out. God damn. Can I please dodge 1 or maybe 2 turns so I can ensnare Bridge? Please? I guess I can explosives. Oh no. Okay, so we're just dead now. Push. Fuck, man. Really? I play the peatland because we have to exactly, like my opponent has lethal, so we have to exactly cycle into Fatal Push or we're gonna lose. It's got me a little hyped. Yeah, yesterday I went through all of the cards that I got from pre-modern, for pre-modern. Well, Karn is not gonna be enough. So I'm just gonna cycle here. Wouldn't be surprised if my opponent used this chance to maybe flash in their Colossus Hammer. Do I have Karn's IRL? Of course. Wow! Wow! That is a lot of lands. I think I'm just gonna concede here. We got nothing, and my opponent, like, I just don't want to play this game anymore. I'm too frustrated. This card seems great. Like Thoughtseize, like, my entire deck is just sick. My entire deck is insane in this matchup. I just didn't draw anything at all. Like, all of my cards are good. Maybe Tracker is my worst card. Tracker and Liliana, Last Hope. Everything else is just great. Is this Summertime deck tier 1? It used to be. I think that it's not that well positioned right now because there's a lot of Lava Darts in the format currently. Now they are revealing Lurrus. That's super interesting. They didn't reveal Lurrus game 1. Oh no, my opponent misclicked Lurrus. That makes a lot more sense. This hand's great though. Bob. Wow. Well, their hand sucks. Just gonna take the ones that draw cards, I guess. Oh, actually, I should have taken the Pure Steel Paladin there, the Bob there. I think I should have taken the Bob there, actually. Because I would have forced my opponent to not play the Ink Moth. Like, they would have been forced to play the Windswept Heath, so they could have played the if they wanted to develop their game, their board state, right? So that would have meant that they would have needed to play one of their Heath in order to play something that means they can't pressure the Liliana with the Ink Moth. So that was definitely a pretty big misstep on my part. Potentially game losing. Hopefully not. So they drew Lurrus. Land would be the best draw here, I think. It's not bad either. Yeah, I think I'm gonna continue plus in here. It's really bad to pitch the Karn. Like, I wish I didn't have to, but if I don't pitch the Karn, my opponent gets to attack my Liliana. So now I just need to find a Fatal Push. Yeah, I mean, I think the deck is fine. I think it's not as well positioned as it used to be. That's the only issue. But it's not bad or anything. Holding the land because of Tracker, by the way. So they're gonna get to kill Liliana here. Or not. Why would they not attack Liliana? It was free. I guess they were playing around removal spell from my part. So maybe it makes sense. The opponent's playing around removal. F's in chat. Ha! Resign the F's. Yep. F's have officially been rescinded. Do I think Karn will be banned in Modern? No, I don't think Karn will be banned in Modern. Definitely do not think that Karn will be banned in Modern. I'm probably gonna trophy this Ink Moth now. My opponent knows about this Inquisition, by the way. Like, it's not lethal, but it kind of makes things awkward. I guess I could trophy the cranial plating. Seems much better, actually. Would be awesome to draw something good here. That counts. Yeah, that tracker was solid. I think it's fair to say that that tracker was solid. Also, Plague Engineer is a pretty cool card, not gonna lie. So many creatures to eat. I have to jump here. And now Fatal Push probably means that we win. Unless my opponent has Cigar the Sade into double. It has to be Cigar the Sade into double thingy. I mean, this is not lethal, so I'm just taking it. Yep. Okay. Okay, number 3. This card's fine. It doesn't kill Auriok Champ. Potentially kills Mem Knight. Is it better than Veil? Have some spice for the Karn board in AmuLIT. Have I tried Pestilent Cauldron? No, I have not, but what does it do and like which problems does it fix? You saw me in MTC Goldfish. Is Titantron the real deal? No, it isn't, but it's a hilarious meme. Let's do that. Maybe I should have Brutalities, actually. Yeah, maybe I should have Brutalities instead of Thoughtseize there. Guess this hand's okay. How much do I have to donate for you to brew mono green devotion deck in standard like the one in Pioneer? Can you do that in standard? Is there even devotion in standard? If you want me to like brew a deck from scratch, I could probably do it for like 30 bucks or something. Please have something I can take. Oh. I'm gonna take the tutor that would kill me 2 turns from now. Thank you very much. Because we can kind of slow down the champion with the Goifo. Oh, you mean historic? I'll probably do it a little bit more for a little bit more in historic, mostly because always yield. Because I just don't play historic, and like my stream doesn't really focus on historic either, so. Yeah, I can take a quick look. Like, if you want to do a deck tech, I have the deck tech option. This Lurrus is brutal. It's brutal because, like, if I Liliana minus, my opponent just replaced the Ornithopter. We just need a push or something. Like, we need to get rid of the Lurrus. Once we do, then we can go from there. But this is rough. Want to see what dragons are in historic for dragons from? Yeah, you cannot look up which cards are legal in historic, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I feel kind of dead here. Do feel kind of dead, I'm not gonna lie. Yep. So they're gonna kill Karn. Damn it. Now their bubble Lurrus engine is live again. We just need to find an answer to this stupid Lurrus. God damn it. God damn it. Ugh. This is so frustrating. Just gonna sack the stupid Ornithopter. They can replay it next turn. Alright, I mean, if we find a push, we're in good shape here. Never mind. Not in good shape anymore. I mean, if we find a push, I guess we're fine. Push. Trophy. Maelstrom Pulse. Anything that kills this thing. Okay. Damn. Pernicious Deed in MH2, that would be awesome. Pernicious Deed is such a cool card. Such a cool card. Wow. They got nothing? What's in their hand? Sounds good. Okay. We're gonna win this game after we flood it for a bazillion turns. We got that one covered. Not too worried. Oh, and they held on to the Igmoths and they were super punished for holding on to the Igmoths. They trapped the exactly second Igmoths. That's insane. Wow. That's crazy. They messed up there, actually. They messed up because now they don't have a Metalcraft anymore. I guess not that it really matters, but yeah, I mean, this is gonna attack the Liliana, so I have to get rid of it. Too bad that we couldn't bank on that Lily. We really need to draw something good here. 3 Friars with each one was sub. Full year. 1 full year of support. Thank you so much, 3 Friars. Really appreciate it. Okay, we're looking pretty good now. Kills that one. Something. Hold on to that for tracker. What a grind. What a grind. Felt pretty good buying Revenant's Bailout for 70 cents. Yep. Definitely. It's a good draw for them. Very good draw. There we go. That's a way to finish the game. So I guess they drew a path. Yep, they drew a path probably. I bought like Asacom. I got your deck on the side, Flash, but I'm gonna check it out in between rounds. Thank you for the follow, Pamela Voorhees. Voorhees. Okay, so we got perfect info. Opponent's got nothing going on. Gonna get Haumfin with this Scavengers over here. Fatal Push is a good draw. 2-turn clock. Here's 8 damage. Is there any chance of a Jeskai Tireless Tribe deck going thing in pre-modern? Well, the good thing about pre-modern is that the power level feels like it's pretty flat. The only things that seem quite powerful are the just like, you know, counter spells and stuff. And removal is better than threats, like it used to be back in the day. Like answers are just better than threats overall. But all your dreams can be true if you try hard enough. It's the beauty of pre-modern. Okay. So this is going to be a forced chump. We know their last card in hand is a Colossus Hammer. Honestly, I should have thought seized it. Because if they draw a Pure Steel Pally in there, we would have been in trouble. So that was definitely a mistake. But it's fine though. Alright, see you for the next round. Alright, round number 3. Skip this hand. I may be punished by not shocking here if we're playing against an aggressive deck, but I don't know. Tome Scour, Cripid Chill, Conflagrate, Silver Smooth Ghoul. This is 3. We can't push it. Saddest timeline. Won't they try a combo deck to be a slower control-ish deck with a combo finish? You can do whatever the hell you want. That's why I'm so stoked about the format. It just seems like everything is possible. So I guess we're dead here. Also, my opponent should have attacked first because of what happened. Ugh. Who is happy in the format? Me. I am just super stoked about it. But I'm not like hyping up. I'm super hyped about it, and like it is exactly what I want in a format, and it just works out. I'm just sharing my excitement. Like if it gets annoying, I can just stop. If it gets annoying, I swear that I can stop. I can stop anytime I want, okay? I swear that I can stop whenever I want. So my opponent is like playing Dredge, but with blue for Tome Scour? Do we have outs here? I don't think we have outs, actually. Just gonna get a sneak peek at the rest of their deck list, but I think that we're dead and we don't have outs right now. Well, actually, let's see here for a second. We swing. Opponent swings on the back and we die. So I guess I'm gonna attack with just one Goyf. Oh, they have conflag, so never mind, we are dead. Yeah, we are dead. They have another... What format is the talk about? Pre-modern. Not going to switch, but it is fun to brew with different restrictions. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the thing. Like, there's a community, and it's a community-driven format, right? Like, it's not... There is a ban list, and I like the way that the ban list is managed, actually, because the ban list is managed in such a way as to prevent the format from becoming legacy light. So cards that, you know, are obnoxious in legacy, like Brainstorm, Force of Will, those cards would be everywhere in pre-modern, so they're just banned. I think we won the Nihil Spellbomb in the main deck, but we won the Tormod Script in the sideboard. I think that's going to be the setup that I want. Also, Liliana seems bad. Probably Liliana's worse than Thoughtseizes. Whose idea was this many pros on board? No, not really. This is the website. I think I'm just gonna make a command, because I've been talking about this a lot, but like I'm super excited about it, and I feel like, you know, I can just share that excitement with folks. I don't see why not. Maybe you get some people stoked about it, you know? Okay, that's our end game. Yeah, you can play Nantuko, like all of those cards. Like the thing is that it starts when I started. The format, it starts exactly when I started playing, so it hits me right in the freaking, it hits me right in the, what's his name? Actually, ooh, I messed up. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to trophy this right in the nostalgia. That's what I meant to say. So we're gonna play Ashiok, and I'm not gonna do anything. Yep. Premodern is basically all extended for the boomers. Exactly. It's all extender for the boomers like I am. But not for like, not boomers that are like ridiculously wealthy, right? This is the format for the non-wealthy boomers. But yeah, it's a format where you get to cast like Fact or Fiction, you get to cast Exalted Angel, you get to cast, you get to cycle Decree of Justice, and those are like good plays. You know what I'm saying? Like Decree of Justice being your win condition is legit. You know? I started getting more into Magic in Dominaria. My favorite card in that set was Dredge Shade. Yeah. Yeah, Rebels is fine. Like Lin CV is good. Amongst the cards that I bought recently for the format, we have Squee Goblin Nabob. We have Finkel, like actual Finkel. Ugh, they found an imp. We get some Joni Magic action. Spell Pierce. Okay, we're fine so far. Opponent dredged an imp. They're gonna get a ghoul here. It's not the end of the world. Now we do get to deploy our Scusi here. Though I second here was a high point in MTG. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. This entire format is a high point in MTG. Opponent Dredge Loam. They found Ox. They found Ox Amalgam in 3 cards. Oh, man. Oh. They had 3 cards, and 2 of those cards were Ox Amalgam. Well, I guess we die now. God damn it. Well, I think we're dead now. I think we could have been able to put together a win before. I think now we're dead. I guess if we find a green source, maybe. Green source off the top, no. Yeah, I have to just chomp here. If I had found a green source, maybe we could have goifed plus eat the Ox. And that maybe helps me get there. But this is just too much. This is just too much. I don't think I can keep up with this. We also have to chomp with our Scavenging Ooze. Can we avoid that? No. Yeah, we have to chomp with Scavenging Ooze. Can't win anymore. 3, 6, 7, 8. But I'm taking 1. Yep. Dead. Alright, we lost to a super weird dredge list. My opponent's all 4-0 just like my previous opponent apparently, so hopefully we don't get like 5-0'd twice in a row. This hand is super sketch, man. This hand would be great against Tron, maybe. I wonder if this deck has 1 too many lands, which is possible. I don't think so, but it is possible that this deck has exactly 1 too many lands. I think I'm shipping this though. Opponent kept 7. Basic Forest, AmuLIT of Vigor. Strong. Strong start from opponent. Strong start from opponent. Really hoping that the minute that my opponent took to begin the game was not because they were looking at my stream. Hoping that that is not the case. Not saying that they did. Definitely not saying that they did. I'm just saying that I'm hoping that that wasn't why. Yeah, but I'm like, Tinker is legal in pre-modern, and so is like Reanimator and Exhume. But the best thing that you can get is like Visara the Dreadful. Like the Reanimator decks play Visara. That is the hype thing to reanimate. None of, you know, like just Grisser brand you out of the game. Not deploying the Goyf because I have to kill an Azusa or Dryad here. I'm holding and push. I wish I could have deployed the Goyf there. If we had been on the play, this match would have played a lot differently, I think. Because I would have gotten to play Goyf on 2 and I would have been able to hopefully start pressuring my opponent. Not that Goyf is that good, honestly. It's a no one. Still have Tron and Blood Moon in Pre-Modern, but you don't have Expedition Map nor Sylvan Scrying. You don't have... now you can play Blood Moon and you can mess with some mana bases, but you cannot fetch for basics. So like only really... I guess that you can fetch. No. No. You cannot. No, yeah, you can. There are fetch lands. There are only the Onslaught fetch lands. Just lost playing Standard. My opponent went Bird Time 3 times in a row. I put him on a black control deck, did not stand a chance. That's brutal, Fontaine. Yeah, that link that I passed, if you go to like the decks thing over here, go to decks, you see like some examples of some decks that are legal in the format. And my opponent is taking like extremely long to make a single stupid play, so I feel like we can look at this. So Counter Rebels is a deck, Dead Guy Ale is a deck with Nantuko Shades, Vindicates, Gerard's Verdict. Dementia Drake is a combo deck with this thing, Daily District. I'm honestly not familiar with the metagame, so I don't know what the combo decks look like and stuff. If my opponent has bounce land into Titan, we're just gonna pack it, but... Get an Ashiok in there, and... that's it. Better not minus my Ashiok. Against AmuLIT, I probably won't. Tracker. I'm thinking whether I want Engineers, but I don't think I do. But you're gonna be a survival player. I wished, but survival is in the reserve list. So I don't own any copies. So yeah, $300 a pop. So just proxy. Yeah, you could, but like the whole point is to play with the real cards, right? I mean, at least for me, like obviously I would not mind playing against somebody that proxies a deck. Like I don't care, but like for myself, the whole point of the format and what excites me about the format is precisely to play with the real cards. But yeah, like back when I was a kid, I really wanted to have Exalted Angels because I had like my shitty zombie deck that my dad had gotten for me. And I would play against this player at my LGS back in Argentina that had Astral Slide. This is back when Astral Slide was like a really good deck in modern, in standard, and it was like kind of playable as well in extended, but it was just okay, I guess. Like you would not be too embarrassed. And back in the day, like each copy of Exalted Angel was like 50 pesos, which was completely unattainable for me as a 12-year-old kid. And now I get to play a playset of Exalted Angels because right now they're $2 each, so they're actually reasonable now. I think I'm gonna keep this hand. So I'm really excited about playing some Astral Slides. Play a morph. Ask my opponent to wonder what the morph is. And then we can cycle an Astral Slide, trigger, and exile my morph. Get it back as a 4/5 flying lifelink. Unraceable. Absolutely unraceable. It just feels like at some point this is just gonna become a pre-modern stream. My pre-modern decks are just extra cards from Legacy. Yeah, I mean, any line riffs? Yeah, 100%. Red white. So you can cycle the Forgotten Caves. I got a couple of Eternal Dragons too. The last pre-modern streamer. We can probably call it the only pre-modern streamer, and it would be fairly accurate. But yeah. Not this weekend, but the next weekend I'm going to my parents' place where I have all my collection. And I'm pretty sure that my brother and I are just gonna spend many hours just building pre-modern decks. Veil of Summer. So we take the Dryad. Then we Thoughtseize the other Dryad. My opponent has an ETB tap land, so they're gonna be stuck stranded with 2 Veil of Summers in their hand. And this is why Veil of Summer is just not good in AmuLIT. It just doesn't work out. They drew another Dryad? God damn it. I guess if you're a luck suck, Veil of Summer is okay. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Stop the AmuLIT right there, right? What else? Liliana is a very good drop. That's just like they played Auramancer to combo with Cyclone Enchantment. I don't know what Auramancer is. Auramancer. Oh yeah, that's the 1 blue and 2 or something like that. Astral Slide, Decree of Justice is unbeatable. They discard the Dryad. Wow. Okay. So best draw is probably land for Karn. Land for Karn very likely just wins the game. Nice Veil of Summer's opponent. I think I'm pitching the push. Sure. Nice Veil of Summer opponent. This was a perfect example of why Veil of Summer is embarrassing in AmuLIT. And this is why, like, I found myself, like, whenever I tested Veil, I always found myself in these spots where I just have access to this stupid Veil of Summer in my hand, and I am just either cycling it because my opponent can play around it because I cannot hold it up because I have a bunch of ETB tapped lands, and I just lose. I just lose the stupid game like an idiot because playing a Veil of Summer. Next turn we get to Karn. Super punished by this Blooming Marsh here. Technically, this is the last turn that they can do the thing. This is the last turn where they can Titan. Because I'm going to ult Liliana. And I'm probably going to split land AmuLIT versus land and the other... I guess I can... Let's see how we draw. 4 mana on my upkeep. Beast Within. Sure. Easy Veil the ult? Well, I didn't have to ult, really. I could have just continued plussing. And now we have Dismember, so now they're locked out. Veil this, opponent. Veil this. Oh, look, a land. Now we can start pressuring. Do we send a link to YouTube channel? I mean, I think that it's cool that people try out different things. I'm just explaining why I think this card is really, really bad in AmuLIT. Yeah, this can't do anything of relevance. They have the rogue AmuLIT, they need help, yeah, for sure. Tisk. Okay, game 3. Don't really like Liliana Last Hope. If we had Fulminators, I would be a lot more into Lily, but fortunately we don't. Veil in AmuLIT. If they have a good hand, it's going to be pretty tough for us to slow them down, though. So, if they have a good hand, they have a good hand. I wonder if I should be bringing in Torpor, for example. So I can naturally draw it. It means that I can't get it off Karn. But that could be okay. Nah. Better cut all the black cards to play around Veil. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Seems like a fine hand. Seems like a fine hand. Keep. So I guess I have to assume that they top deck another bounce land there. So do I want a Thoughtseize? Or I can trophy the AmuLIT. I think, yeah, I want a Thoughtseize. We can pulse the AmuLIT next turn. Just a little bit cleaner. Yeah, makes sense. It's an interesting spot for them, because if they draw something like an Asusa, then it's better for them to hold on to the bounce land. But then they get blown out if I answer the AmuLIT, so... In any case, I'm probably going to pulse the AmuLIT this turn. Just about to be 10 minutes ahead of my opponent on clock. No big deal. What's up, Common Sense? How you doing? Could also just blow up their land, I guess. Swell, swell. Myself? I'm doing great. So I guess I'm assuming that they have another... They have another bounce land? This is quite an interesting spot. I think that the play is to pulse the AmuLIT. I think that the play is to pulse the AmuLIT. There's no way. Like, my opponent has seen Ashiok and they have seen Karn. It's just not correct for them to be within my land, I don't think. They disagree, I guess. Okay, so at this point, I think that my opponent is ghosting. At this point, I think that my opponent is ghosting. So that sucks. And the reason that I think that my opponent is ghosting is if your plan was to be within my swamp, which is a bad plan, because it backfires very easily unless you know my exact hand. If that's the play, then it's probably a lot better for them to do that on my upkeep because I don't get to attack. And the fact that they did it main phase just tells me that they know my hand. Because there's no way that they're playing around Maelstrom Ports, Assassin's Trophy, and Field of Ruin like that. Like, it's just... Because, again, because the risk is just so high, right? It's just not correct to do this unless you know exactly my hand, because they know that I have Ashiok and they know that I have Karn. So the cost of using the Abyss Within right there is extremely, extremely high. So I could be wrong about this, but I think... I'm not going to say that my opponent is ghosting, but all I'm going to say is that the likelihood of my opponent ghosting went from like 2% to 85%. Just like that, with that play. This could also be a misplay. Well, but it can't really be a misplay. Because they thought about it for like... We are over 10 minutes ahead at this point. So it can't really be a misplay when they are just like taking this long to make every decision. Their username is Rodolfo SFD0. But I really doubt that they're going to show up in chat. All I can really say is that that was an extremely sketchy play, and obviously they got rewarded by it because I am very, very certain that they know my hand. It really sucks that we were not able to punish them too. Because if I had found a land there, like, we just win, right? If I had found the land, I was going to Field of Ruin, fix my mana, set up for Ashiok, then we win from there. It's just really frustrating though. Maybe they played pick when I was not looking. Damn it, I missed it. They're 4-0. Yeah, I guess that they're willing to cheat to get that 5-0. It sucks. It really sucks. I won't pack it up yet because if we find a Black Source, like, we still have enough chance at winning because my opponent... I guess we do have enough chance at winning. We can pause the prime time. Feel like Veil gets a lot better when you see opponent's hand. I mean, not in the previous game, I'll tell you. Not in the previous game, it did not look good. Even when my opponent knew my hand, it did not look particularly good. So if we find the Black Source, maybe we have a shot. We gotta find the Black Source right now. That's not a Black Source. Alright. Alright, opponent. Good job. You earned it. You earned it. Hope it was worth it. See you for the next round. Alright, welcome to the last round. Feeling really shitty about the previous round. But it is what it is. It is the cost of streaming after all. If there is some, they pay their money to watch me. That's fair. That's fair. So my opponent's playing Eldrasitron and they mull to 6, so we know that there's an Urza's Mine on top of my opponent's deck. Since we know that, I guess I still want to take the Reshaper here. Land is great. Chalice for 1. Take 3. Thoughts on Elder Deep Fiend in Modern? Playable or not? Probably not playable. So we know most of their hand. That grows the Goiful. And if my opponent didn't find the land, we get to... I mean, we're still kind of in good shape here. So they can sack their dude to guarantee that they have Karn. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, we bring them down to 2. We can Karn their land. One upkeep, I guess. Because they have to go... Wait, what? Yeah, that doesn't do it. Yep, that doesn't do it. Because I was gonna just like liquid metal coating and take their stuff. Bringing in some engineers, cutting some pushes, and shipping it. Do you think Primola should try to play the worst white border art you can find? Seems like the style to me. No, I've been trying to get some the nicer versions of cards. Think I knew they were dead. I wanted to get some info the way out. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. For sure. Good old go to 15. Just playing some shadow over here. Huh. Taking the Thought Knot. So we can very easily get rid of the Ballista thanks to Fatal Push. Ha! Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They just knew. They just knew. Rodolfo SFDO. What's up, Rodolfo? How you doing? Scavenging News. Why don't I play E-Trunk? It looks easy. It's just boring. I tried E-Tron once, I played 2 leagues, and it was just so boring. Like, I don't understand why people like it. It's just so not for me. It's very, very much a deck that is simply just not for me at all. Would love to see a land here. We're playing 25 lands in this list. The Italian Stallion 14 with the tier 1 sub. Welcome to the Primetime Stronghold, Italian Stallion. It's a great name too. It's really fun to say. Italian Stallion, Italian Stallion. Ugh. I'm technically not dead. So my plan is to attack this turn, and next turn we can grow the Scavenging News as big as this Smasher so we can potentially trade. Oh, okay. That's a way around that. We can still get a fetch land though. We're 1 mana short of cycling Peatland to kill Reshaper. What can we do here? What can we do here? We're at 3. We took way too much damage from the Speedland, and like if we had been able to Liliana before this came down, we would have probably won that game. But in this reality, is there a way out here? There is a way out. So I'm gonna push the Reality Smasher, discard the Tireless Tracker to the Smasher trigger, and I'm going to eat it, so we trade. That's the line. It's not a great line, but it's the only line that I can think of that allows me to survive this turn. I imagine my opponent's gonna attack with both. You can push a Smasher? Yeah. Trigger. Then we can cycle Peatland to enable Revolt. I think I want to eat... let's do Tireless Tracker. Then we eat Tireless Tracker. Well, the Plague Engineer line doesn't do anything, right? Because I'm gonna be at 1, right? So playing Plague Engineer is just a losing proposition. Tectonic Edge, nice. You'd be at 2. Yeah, but my opponent attacks me with Reality Smasher, so Reality Smasher tramples. He doesn't have many attacks, he has lethal attacks. Like, I am forced to... my opponent's going to be attacking... I have a 4/4 Scavenginus, and I have a Plague Engineer. My opponent attacks me with Smasher and Matter Reshaper. I have to chump block the Smasher, because otherwise it tramples through. Yes, I know. I had a 4/4 to block it. I still take 1, and I'm chump blocking. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, so naming Eldrazi with Plague Engineer. That's what it was. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe that was better. Maybe I threw there a little bit. You're right. Yeah, maybe that line was better. Last card in hand is Soulless Dust. Gets taken by Liliana. Yeah, I'm gonna pack it into that one. I totally forgot that Smasher. I was thinking about Engineer being a Death Toucher, and I forgot that it actually, you know, has other line of text. I probably can't keep this one, huh? This one looks nice, though. Am I shipping a discard spell here? I think so. Well, not really. I can go turn 1 discard. Turn 2 ooze, turn 3 discard. I think I'm shipping the Karn. We're gonna... I just feel like we're gonna get flooded here, but... Anyway. Opponent moves to 5. Thank you for the follow, Pickles. Power plant. Ugh. I think I'm going with Scavenging Ooze here. The main reason for doing that is that if my opponent plays Karn, I can pressure it. Which otherwise I can't. Also, I don't really want to discard this Karn to the Liliana. Smasher. Brutal. Well, but now this actually works out great. So now I can Liliana minus the Smasher. Yeah, this works out beautifully. If they have a second Smasher, that's potentially an issue, but looking good besides that. That's a good sign too. I'm gonna draw step, blow up their land. I can't have my opponent having Tron over there, you know? I can get a green source and I can eat the Smasher too. Yeah, sure. I guess the 1 point of damage probably matters more. Gracias. Well, we plus here. And this should be good. And I guess I'm not gonna attack here. No, it's fine to attack. It's fine to attack because my opponent can Smasher, kill the Karn. But if they do that, then I just kill them with the I Liliana minus, and then I kill them with the Scavenging Ooze, so it's fine. They drew their own Karn. They probably, I mean, they're just dead. Yeah, they're just dead. Yeah, that's fine, Rodolfo. It's just a shitty thing to do, you know. But it is what it is. I mean, I am the one streaming, so I'm signing up for it. This is why I don't stream big events. Some people really want that 5-0, even if they haven't really earned it. Congratulations on the 5-0 though. And I appreciate your honesty about it. Boom. 3 and 2. Yeah. Falido and Elura, you're also Brazilian, right? Because that's the only way that it's okay for you to say something like that. Okay, yeah, I assume like that's Brazilian kind of humor, I guess. Argentinian humor is similar, but to be honest though, like the deck did not look bad, huh? So losses were to Dredge and Casper. Which seems okay. And we played Unbeat Hammer Time, we beat Eldracitron, and I can't remember what we beat in round 1, but it's neat. It's neat. Oh yeah, the Electro Balance deck. So this seems like the worst card in the deck. But I feel like I want something like this. Is there another Planeswalker that I can play in the main deck? Like Planeswalker style card, I mean. Like anything that can give me value. Anything that can like give me value. Like Season Pyromancer would be the perfect card for this slot, obviously. But if I could play Season Pyromancer, I would just probably play like 4 copies. So that's probably not an option. Kroxa would be another interesting one. Bobs. The issue with Bobs is that we have like a bunch of 4-drops and we have a bunch of 3-drops. Like Bobs could be really painful for us. Pack Rat. Back red. Lurrus is interesting, but like I'm getting back like Scavenging Uses and Tarmogoyfs, that's it. Lurrus has like a pretty significant deck building cost. Lurrus has a pretty significant deck building cost, which I'm not willing to incur in. AKA playing Mishra's Bubbles. Play the 4th. Courser is interesting. Alright. Courser is the best Eternal Witness? Is Ewit just hype here? I don't know how I feel about the green mana cost though. That's a little bit shaky. Oh, Hex Drinker is interesting. Hex Drinker is kind of interesting. I don't think I would play that many copies. Like I'd maybe play 2. The problem with Hex Drinker is it just attacks and blocks. And it gets owned by Lavadart. I kind of like Eternal Witness actually. Yeah, I think that it's gonna be Ewit. I think that it's gonna be Ewit. Courser is very cool though. Courser, I'm gonna keep Courser in mind. Courser is very cool. I'm gonna definitely keep it in mind. Another change that I want to see, I feel like we have 1 too many Nurturing Peatlands. So I'm gonna just play 3 copies. And then we can play Fetch Land. I don't think I want another field. I think I want the colored source. Could be another Overgrown Tomb. Although I guess with Eternal Witness, Fetch Land is probably better than Overgrown Tomb. Treetop Village. I don't think I want Treetop, no. We're playing fields. We could try 1 Treetop, I guess. I guess it's nice at pressuring walkers and stuff. But we are playing 4-drops, right? Like, Blooming Marsh is the same thing. Like, I'm playing Blooming Marsh mostly as a concession to the fact that the aggressive decks are very popular right now. But I'm not psyched about playing Blooming Marsh when I have Karn. In fact, we were punished by playing Blooming Marsh, drawing it as our 4th land in this very league that we just played. Playing could be interesting. Yes, Cling could be very interesting, you're right. Cling over the 7th Discord spell, maybe? We could also just play 24 lands. Just do this. We can try this. We can try this. As far as the sideboard goes... Is there anything we want to change? We seemed super weak against graveyard decks. Split a push and Bloodchief Thirst. I think I'd rather play the 4th push before I play the first Bloodchief Thirst. Particularly because I'm already playing trophies and Maelstrom Pulses and answers to Planeswalkers. So like I just want to make sure that I can kill prowess threats at instant speed, particularly Sprite Dragon. So December looks kind of weird. Is there a point that I'm missing? 1 mana answer to Dryad. 1 mana answer. It's mostly as a respect for Stormwing Entity. This kills Stormwing Entity, which is one of the reasons that I'm playing this deck, is because we have a significant amount of answers or potential answers to Stormwing Entity. All of these. Witch Claw. I am assuming you mean Wish Claw Talisman. But yeah, this is not a combo deck though. Wish Claw Talisman with Karn is cute because like you go get Wish Claw and then you activate it and then your opponent can't activate it, but like that seems like way too slow. Oh, Witchbane Orb. Yeah, I don't think I want Witchbane Orb. No. If I wanted that effect, I would play Lane of Sanctity, and I think that Leyline is bad. The problem with Witchbane Orb is like, this is not a Eldrazi Tron, or this is not like Mono Green Tron, so it's not like I can like make Tron and then I can do that. Like at that point I need to, if I'm playing against Burn and I need to resolve a Karn, and then I need to minus the Karn to get the Witchbane Orb, and I need to spend 4 mana to catch the Witchbane Orb. It just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't do what you want it to do. Same thing with something like Trinisphere. Like those kind of cards work a little bit better in decks that can ramp. This deck cannot ramp. Sedgemoor Witch. It's interesting. How many ways to trigger do we have? 17? Yeah, I don't think I like it with... Like, this is a very small amount of ways to trigger Sedgemoor Witch. And we also have no way of digging into our deck, so I don't think that Sedgemoor Witch would do it here. Has Maelstrom Pool ever killed more than 1 permanent for me recently? I played the grand total of 5 matches with this card in the past year or something, so... No, is the answer, because it didn't happen in this league. I just never drew it. I have a question. Is the land count perhaps too low given how intensive Karn is? Assuming it's John's BBE slot, we definitely want 1-2 more lands than John. Well, that's why I had 25. And I think 25 may be the correct number, but I wanted to try a league with 24. But yeah, I agree with you, Manios Pass. Like the league that we just finished, I was playing 25 lands. So I want to try a league with 24. And I would probably go back to 25 because I agree with what you were saying. Like I think that Karn is super mana intensive. So I like the treetop village idea though. I think this is a fine sideboard. I wish I had access to, you know, more Graveyard Hate, but I think this is just what I have the space for, unfortunately. This is kind of what it is. Alright, folks. I will play another league, so fear not, we will be back, but I'm going to take a very short break here. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.